I'm searching for answers. I've heard that, it's the next big thing and it went in one ear and out the other. I'm searching for answers. I was telling this to someone yesterday, but you can just like go right in the kennel and just roll around with the dogs and come out looking the same you did before, just maybe some dirt on you. Way to go. Way to go, team. People were talking about like the world was over. I was the only guy going out then, eh? I was the only guy in the team. I'd show up with goggles, gloves. You know what? I don't really know what the question is, but I do know that when I hear the answer, I go, oh yeah, that's right. Imagine this. One week, we just don't release an episode.
Oh my God. Why would
Imagine
we do that?
how many views we'd get.
I can imagine.
Yeah. Think about it. Everyone would be like, whoa, go check out the Canadian Real Estate Show channel this week. They didn't post a video.
Yeah.
I call that
I think
reverse, right?
Reverse marketing?
Reverse followers, you know?
Right. That will definitely cause reverse followers.
Reverse followers. It's how you get reverse views. Yeah.
I think
throwing it out there.
should be in charge of marketing the show.
You know what? Thank God I'm not.
Thank God you're not. Jesus
God I'm
Christ.
not. Ooh-wee. Thank God we don't have somebody in charge of marketing, and that we just kind of go. We just roll with it.
If we had somebody in charge of marketing actually doing something to get the show out there all the time, imagine
the people we would reach. Maybe even to Newfoundland or something like really like way out there, you know, like Timmins or we've been getting a lot of people. I've noticed because I've been sending out shirts and got more shirts.
Where are these people?
And like I sent you them all. So people are really, really spread out. We're definitely the Canadian real estate show. As much as we talk about Toronto all the time, the most important part of Canada, we definitely
center of the universe.
Most of the people outside of the Toronto area, to be honest with you.
Most of the people requesting shirts.
I sent maybe 10% of people were actually in Toronto or even the GTA. The rest were all outside.
Yeah, but this is just from the base of people that are willing to request a free T-shirt from the show.
I'm assuming this is a consistent sort of demographic here. Like, I mean, this poll, I believe, holds some weight, right? It's like the election polls, right?
Yeah,
like I asked 10 people and 80% are going to vote for that guy.
You should write an article.
Yeah.
Right.
So what's the deal? Why would that not be counted as legitimate?
And if you go to their campaign party and ask that question, I mean, the results of that are probably, fair, realistic,
Just got to ask the right 10 people.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Get the answers that you want to hear. I'm
the
searching
magic
for
of
answers.
editing.
I'm searching for answers.
Are you? What are the questions?
You know what? I don't really know what the question is, but I do know.
Just know that you're missing the answer.
When I hear the answer, I go, "Oh yeah."
Well,
that's
right. Maybe the answer is that we, got 8,000 subs on the channel. Is that
way to go?
The answer?
Way to go, team! Way to go! Thank you for everybody who subscribed and likes, comments, and shares our content.
Stuff. Yeah,
you guys are the
appreciate
best.
all of you.
Yep.
Thank you.
T-shirts are on the way.
Please subscribe and
T-shirts are out there. Are people wearing the T-shirts, TK?
Doesn't matter, Darryl, if they wear the T-shirts or not. Listen, one person doesn't like the T-shirts. Two people, whatever. I wear the T-shirts. They're nice.
Are you wearing the T-shirt?
If you have a dog, okay? No, I'm wearing a Frank Leo one. But
they're actually dog T-shirts.
If you have a dog, all right, and you don't like getting hair all over your shirt, then the shirts that we have, they're anti-dog hair. They repel dog hair. And
we paid extra for that, didn't we, TK?
I did. So
dog hair repellent Canadian real estate. So
they're white, but you can just like go right in the kennel and just roll around with the dogs and come out looking the same you did before, just maybe some dirt on you.
Canadian real estate show shirts. Say that 4 times, TK.
Whoa.
What was the last puzzle?
I can't even say my name.
Well, congratulations, TK. We have a wonderful guest for everybody today. I'm very excited about that. They'll be on later on in the show. Aren't you excited for our wonderful guest today, TK?
I'm going to pretend like I know who the guest is and agree.
You don't know who the guest is for real? Holy cow. This is going to be exciting, man. End of the show, though. Only like the last 20 minutes. So
Sure. Awesome.
unfortunately, that's all we could get, but we're very excited. What else is going on? We got t-shirts, we got people subbing to the channel, we have a great guest, we have monkeypox. I wonder if that's going to limit the amount of views now that I said the word monkeypox, or do they want us to talk about monkeypox? Do you know what monkeypox
Oh,
are? Have you heard about
I've heard about
monkeypox?
monkeypox.
Do we have to
I've
worry?
heard that it's the next big thing, and it went in one ear and out the other
In one ear, out
because
the other. I think
I
that's
I'm not buying it.
not this time, right?
No,
Not this time.
not this time. Even last time. Yeah, last time
Last
I
time
bought into it.
you
Last
bought
time
it. You
I bought
bought
into
it.
it.
You bought t-shirts. You were selling it.
I bought it.
You had to do open houses, right? You had to get out. You had to work. You had to travel, right?
I was the only guy going out then, eh? I was the only guy in the team. I'd show up with goggles, gloves,
Yeah.
Lysol wipes, booties, and I would like go into people's houses and everything I would touch, I would wipe clean.
Oh, yeah.
And I was selling houses.
I'll tell
March,
you.
April, May 2020, no problem. I'm out there.
Back when I was a general contractor and I was building houses and stuff, you could not stop me. No weather, no snow, no nothing could stop me from getting to that site and, you know, catching everybody else making excuses for why they weren't at the site was basically what ended up happening when I went out there. But, when you're young, you have this vigor to go out there and do everything. But, when we were locked down last time, I was like, oh, damn. Okay. I'll just stay here and, do nothing. I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that slow pace we had when we were locked down. I welcome lockdowns. I wonder what would happen if that actually happened again in the Toronto real estate market, in the Canadian real estate market. What would happen?
I was telling this to someone yesterday because they're saying, well, what's the fall market going to be like? And
The
I'm seeing right
fall
now
market.
the fall
Yeah.
market's going to be a good market.
A
Like I'm not
good
saying
market.
good
You can
market.
tell.
I'm not saying it's going to be a good market, like prices are going to go up or prices are going to go down or whatever, but there's just going to be a lot of people looking to do stuff in the fall. And unfortunately, for people hoping the market goes one way or another,
Yeah.
right? Nobody knows how that's going to pan out. But as far as like, the real estate industry goes, transactions are the only thing that counts. And there's going to be transactions in the fall. I can just see the amount of people, the amount of activity, the pent up demand, the pent up supply. Like a lot of people will be putting their houses on the market. So long story short,
More supply is a good
long
thing.
story short is that somebody was asking me like, what's going to happen in the fall? And like, with all this, the interest rate environment and all the, economy starting to slip and starting to have some issues there. And we're seeing sales down. And we're seeing the unemployment rate going up. And oh my God, I said, don't you remember COVID? Like we had like a global pandemic. Like we were like, people were talking about like the world was over and stuff like that. And they were buying houses like they were going out of style.
Yeah.
I said, nothing shuts down the demand for real estate in Toronto, right? Like we've talked about this before. There's just an insatiable demand and it's stupid. And I wish it went away. And I wish everybody smartened up and that we could just get into this sort of like, realistic perspective on real estate, which is like, how much money do I make? Where do I really need to live? How much money should my expenses be every single month? But everybody always has that sort of perspective of, well, don't worry, I'll suffer now, but I'll benefit later because that's what everybody else around me's been doing for the last 30 years, and that's got to be eliminated.
But you feel like it's like going back the other way, like sentiment is coming back and people are waiting
Sentiment,
to
no,
get
because
in.
that would be investors, right? Investors the sentiment has not changed. It's the fact is that there's going to be people who need to move. So I got a bunch of people who are like, yeah, like we're moving. We need a bigger home. Yeah, we're first time buyers. We need to buy a home. Yeah, we are looking to get into this neighborhood because our kids for the school. Like there's just realistic scenarios that people have in order to be able to move. And I got a lot of those right now. Are you a real estate agent and you're looking to make a change anywhere in Ontario? Guess what? We're hiring. Frankly and Associates, #1 team in the GTA for all REMAX teams, #1 team for all teams from all companies for number of units sold throughout Toronto. So if you're looking to make a change, best decision I ever made was to join Frankly and Associates. Go to jointeamleo.com and we can set up a call. And then a bunch of the people who are selling, we'll see how realistic they are. But, I got put on 2 listings this week. I got another.
And what's the reaction to the listings?
2 going on after Labor Day.
What's happening?
Pretty good. Like I put one up yesterday or the day before.
Open house?
Rippy, and that's
Do we
been
do
pretty
open
good.
houses again? Or
Well, we don't
open
do open
houses a
houses.
thing? We do
Lots
not.
of agents. We don't do open houses. No.
You don't do open houses, just showings.
Private showings, yeah. Open houses
Private
are
show.
just for the agent to meet the sellers in the neighborhood so they can get more listings or to have buyers come in and they sell them someone else's properties. Open
I
houses don't sell houses.
I
What is
always
this,
thought,
1990?
well, see, maybe not open houses, but I always thought that the listing agent should be at the showings too, because they never are. And you get led around this house by somebody who has no clue what's going on in that house. They know nothing
Oh, this
about
is a
the
good
house other
topic.
than what's written, right?
Yeah.
Why does the listing agent not meet them there and go, hey, like, did you know that there's heated floors up here? And hey, did you know that this kitchen has soft closing cabinets? And did you, right? Because you're walking around and the agent doesn't have a goddamn clue. They don't even know where the light switches are. They don't know what to show you. I think this is the Oh no, this isn't the master bedroom. This is the second
You're
bedroom.
right, and you're right in that sense. But buyers don't want to buyers in order for them to make a decision, it's not going to be based off of logic, it's based off of emotion. And when they feel like they are in the same place as the person on the other side, which is a listing agent, they don't feel that same connection walking around. And they're very hesitant. Oh, I don't want to touch anything. Oh, I don't want them to see me interested. Oh, I don't want to look at anything more than I need to because
Yeah, that's the
I don't
best.
feel comfortable in my home.
Shh, shh, don't say anything loud when we're in the house.
Right. Well, now you got recording
Now
devices
you
and all
got
that.
cameras.
And the other reason is that you don't want that as a seller is because it shows either A, you're overpriced or B, you're desperate. Because anytime I see the agent there and they are doing the hard sell, it's always like, man, this guy's seller is really giving him the gears to get this property sold. Something's going on, you
Hmm.
know? So yeah, it's
It just
not
seems like a
pleasant.
disservice to the people that are buying it because they really, most people don't have a clue about features of a house. And then,
Well, that's up
other
for the
than,
listing to identify those things. Like, I mean, what do
oh,
you mean?
come on. I mean, I guess if you're
Heated
looking
floors?
at
Like you can't
really,
just put that heated floors on the listing?
I don't know. I mean, have you read some of these listings? I mean, they're not all just witty jokes, all the listings. Some of them are actually trying to list everything. And then it doesn't make sense. It's like this thing comes with a DR and a BR/CRAC plus HVAC plus,
Yeah.
it's like, what the hell? New roof, 1982.
I
For a
know.
joke, but you don't know what the hell you're getting into. It's like, getting a tour of the Great Wall of China by, this Jewish dude that you just met beside you, or
He's
you
pretty
could,
sure why it was built,
right?
though.
Right.
He's pretty
Like
sure. He's like,
he
I gotta,
just watched a YouTube video and he knows
yeah,
about it, right?
yeah.
Or you could get it from like, somebody who's, great grandfather put a couple of bricks in that thing and
There you
has
go.
been giving tours for his whole life or at least knows like a little more than you, for God's sakes. Like, what's the listing agent doing, for God's sakes, TK? What the hell is that guy doing? And then he keeps the lion's share of the goddamn commission. You guys are
I totally agree that
ruining the
the
prices
average the
for
average listing agent out there is doing nothing. They put it on the
nothing.
MLS and then they sit back and relax and do
And
absolutely nothing.
show up
I
to
agree,
showings. It's
100%.
like, honey, I gotta go. I got a showing. I gotta sell this damn house. You guys are crazy. You let the other idiot show the house. Like that's even dumber, right? It's like you're putting your hands in like whoever the fuck, like, but definitely probably a dumbass, right? This
Mm.
dumbass is bringing in somebody they don't even know. They're like this the whole time. They're like, oh, yeah. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll just be down here out of your way. Right. And the people are walking around. They're like, they don't even know what to look for. They haven't bought a house in 30 years or something. Right. Or never in their
I
life.
got a good story. I got a good story. This is recent. This is hot off the press. Okay. I wanted
Hot
to tell
off
it
the
today, but it
press.
kind of relates to this.
Okay. You're not just squeezing it in.
No,
All
this is
right.
true. This is
Get
a
in
true
there.
story, and it just
Let's hear it.
happened.
It
Okay.
has something to do with
The
something we've
further
been talking
the
about.
further away the buyer can be from the seller and their representative, the better.
The fr-
Okay.
okay.
The buyer needs to have some sort
This
of
is a residential like
insulation.
house kind of deal we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
any type of deal.
Any deal.
Any deal. The buyer
Hmm.
for the buyer to pay the most amount of money. The buyer wants to get next to the seller and ask him all the questions and have all their answers and da 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 because that's obviously going to be benefiting the buyer, right? Oh, he
Sure.
seems nervous.
Yeah.
Oh, he wants to sell. Oh, he's going to throw in the barbecue. I sweet talked him. I told him about my dog, right? So
Yeah.
obviously the buyer on the selling side, the listing side, right? The
Yeah. Yeah.
further the separation you can get, the better it is. It keeps emotions out. It keeps
Yeah.
motivation out. It keeps everything
Yeah.
else. So I'm dealing with this. I'm going to try to tell this story as best I can without crossing any lines. I'm dealing with an agent. They happen to be selling their own home.
Hmm.
Okay. And my buyer is interested in buying their home.
Uh-huh.
very interested. And so during the course of the negotiations, we're, starting at a lower price. We came up a little bit. My buyer says that's their max price. We can't go any higher. The agent is, throwing a fit. She's very emotional in all the answers that she's giving.
Sure.
Then we make an agreement. And I go back to my buyer, and my buyer says, okay. And we went back to the agent, and she agreed, but then changed her mind. So I went back to my buyer and I said, look, this is what happens. You sure you're okay? You really like it? What do you want to do? So we agreed to the new terms. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. New
Now we've
terms.
got these new terms. Everything seems to be going great. I said, okay, we're going to get a deal done. And as the paperwork and all that kind of stuff is being done, new terms were then introduced again. And
Oh.
I am getting a ton of emotion from this agent, and I'm being accused of
Uh-oh.
talking down to her because I explained that the market's not as
Are you
good as it was.
mansplaining it? Are you
Okay. I was
mansplaining?
mansplaining the market, right?
Yeah.
And so I got some grief, right?
You got some grief
I
for it.
got some
Don't
grief
you
for it.
tell me I'm in the
Look,
market.
I
I've been
I
doing
got
this before you were
and that's
born,
what it was,
mister.
is they thought because I was so young and probably handsome and that I was probably
That definitely
inexperienced.
factored in.
And
Yeah.
then what do I know about the market compared to them, who they
That's
were
right.
probably much, more senior than me. And so long story short is, as we're about to, make this deal work, even though there's new terms, I'm really trying, I'm really working hard. The agent said to me, she said, and you know what? The last thing I want is I want you to give up um, about 25% of your commission as well.
Oh yeah, of
Okay.
course.
After I've got them to agree to all the terms, right? Like
Sure.
I'm almost there, but like we're going to get it done. And they said, because I don't want to drive by my property in the future and know that you got paid
You
the
made
full
more than
amount,
I did on this deal.
right? That's
Yeah.
that's what this person said. It was the most spiteful thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, yeah,
And I was
yeah.
just like, wow. So I told my buyer, and I said, look, this is what we need to do in order to get this done. And because there was like some work that had to be done with the property and that we needed to coordinate with the seller, who happens to be the agent between now and closing, my buyer, who's like an older, elderly person, said, I don't feel comfortable dealing with this person.
Mm.
And I think they're unstable. And that
Oh.
I don't want to buy this property anymore because what I need to do needs somebody who's going to be very cooperative.
Yeah,
And that
because
agent killed the deal. Then they called my office to complain about me and realized I did nothing wrong. Okay. True story. But the agent killed the deal for themselves because the emotion. And it reminds me of this story. The worst situation I ever had was a family member of mine.
hold on, this is another story now.
Quickly. First
Jesus,
worst situation I ever
hijacking the
had
mic, eh? Yeah,
was a family member of mine during the market downturn who
yeah.
couldn't handle the stress of selling their home. And it was a real bad situation. We got
They
it
were
done
a
and everything else
realtor, or
too.
they were
No, just
non-realtor.
my client, but it was a family member of mine. And the
Yeah.
sweet person my whole life has always been so kind
Oh
to me,
no.
turned a switch and then came back after the sale was done because it's
Sure.
a lot of pressure when you're selling your own home. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of emotion. And so that agent,
Especially if you're going broke.
tying this all in, when an agent is showing a property and he's desperate to sell, buyers notice. When a seller
Mhm.
is desperate to sell, he's pressuring the agent, and that agent's at that showing, and they're saying, "Oh, but the closing date, and because well, don't include that, and the price is really good. The last one over there sold for da 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 da." All that stuff ends up hurting the situation. It ends up deterring the buyer from actually wanting to move forward, and that's why we keep that separation, Darryl. That's the end of my story.
I think a lot of agents are alcoholics and like on cocaine, and they're having a tough time right now because
What's
they're
your source?
my sources. I see them, and I've been at parties with a lot of them, and I know a lot of them. And listen, when you're used to making a shit ton of money and the market just dries up. I mean, not everybody is on the number one team in the country. TK. Not everybody's the number one realtor on the number one team in the country. A lot of people that were even doing well, things have dried up, or they're half of the business they used to be. And so when you had three ex-wives and you have a cocaine addiction and you have fast cars and you have big houses all over the place, and all of a sudden money dries up, people start doing
Is this
crazy
like Miami
shit, man.
Vice? Like, who are
No,
these
this is
agents?
no, but this is like
How come
there's a
I've never
lot.
met them before?
They were just on that Prime special, probably,
Oh
right?
my God.
No, but
That's
listen,
that's
there's
that's slander.
so many guys out there that were living the high life and
Okay.
partying it
Maybe they
up,
happen to have a real estate license, but they're
and
not
they
like
they
agents.
were, and they
Most
made
agents are
lots of money
professional and that they
scamming
are,
people,
I'm
selling
sure those exist,
pre-con,
but they're
right?
not they're not the guys who are long in the
Where
tooth realtors who've got successful businesses. I promise you. I know all the guys
where are all
who are
the
big. They're not what you just described.
where are all the platinum guys? The platinum guys that have been flying around from country to country
Those those
selling
those
condos,
guys,
right?
maybe you're right. I don't know those pre-con guys.
Where
I
are
never heard of
they?
any of them before. You know what I mean? Like I have no idea how they make their money.
No,
It's a
but
little sketchy.
hold on. Even
Yeah.
at your not your team's office, but your head office, like there
Yeah.
was some pretty big condo sales guys, right? That were under
There's
the
one guy.
radar.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, nobody got untouched by this. If you were selling condos to investors, your
Yeah.
income's gone. Gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gone. That
I hope you
TK.
saved your money.
There,
I don't know.
but there's
I'm saying.
more condos being sold than houses by a bloody mile, right? So there's a whole giant segment of people that were out there making a shit ton of money.
Mhm.
Gone, dried up,
Just to add to my
freaking
story,
out.
I just want to add to my story just because
Yeah.
I'm a nice person. That person, that agent I was talking about, I believe she's a great agent and she's a good person. And I just
Oh,
believe that it's the stress of
okay. She
selling her
figures
own
out you're
home that
talking about
caused
her.
her to act that way, just like my relative back in the past. I really believe that. It's
Oh
just
my God.
when you sell your own home, get another agent in your office to handle it for those reasons. When you're selling your own home and you're
It's
asking your agent,
money.
tell them not to be at the showings and let the buyers do their own things because they will screw it up. There's some pressure that they're going to have that's going to screw it up. I'm
It's
telling you.
it's different in an up market. It's when it's in a down market. It gets hairy and crazy,
Even in
right?
an up market, people are desperate to sell sometimes.
Sometimes. What do you got to do to be desperate to sell in an up market though? Like what the hell's going
What do you
on?
mean? People are going all over the place all the time.
It's
You
the
just hear
same
the
people that are
conversations that I
buying
got.
now.
I listed a house yesterday that the guy was telling me how desperate he was because he's building a new home and that this is like I gotta sell.
But like,
It's
why
like
did they wait? What the
okay,
fuck are you doing? I wanted to time it so I could like move out of this house and move right into the new house kind of
okay.
thing.
I don't know why people make the decisions they do, but I
Oh, I
know
don't
that
know.
most people make the decisions at the last minute and when they're forced to, and that they got no other choices.
No other
So
choices.
did you hear about
Like
the realtor?
Anita Moy,
Real,
right?
oh, that's like
Yeah, no
timing
more
then.
choices for
Wow.
Anita.
I wonder what happened there. I think there was young people
Yuck
like
Ying, Anita Moy. Yuck
yeah, I've
Ying.
heard of her before. Like she's an agent. She's a good agent. I never dealt with her or anything like that, but I've seen business that she's been doing over the years. So I
Did you
don't think it's
notice
real estate related. I think it was maybe a carjacking or something. What is it?
what the hell did you read? I read
I
something totally different. But
What'd you
first of
read?
all, do you
Yeah.
remember last week when we were talking about it? You kept saying, "No, I'm dead serious." You said it like three times when I was like, "Anita, like, is this a joke? Is this a?"
Yeah.
You said, "I'm dead
She went
serious."
missing. Yeah. They found her
Well,
body.
she's dead. Yeah, she
I know.
got
That's sad.
burned. They found her in
Yeah.
Port Perry in a van, like burned to death. And apparently, TK,
Yeah.
she is got like ties to high up government officials, politicians, and um like some pretty powerful people that just happen to be Chinese, apparently. So, but they're calling it a
Politicians here or
targeted
overseas?
murder, bro. A targeted murder. Like this
Yeah.
was not for no reason.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Wasn't
I don't
just
know.
like, yeah, and like random realtors don't just, disappear, right? In
There's been
up
quite a
markets,
few though
it's
over the
very
years where
different, these up
things happen.
markets.
Yeah. So
Down market,
definitely some realtors get into things
cuckoo.
that they shouldn't.
Yeah, I wonder what the hell's going to come out of that.
Yeah, but
It's
maybe
going to
I
be
just notice it. Maybe this happens to every ordinary person who's getting involved with bad stuff. But when it's a realtor, it's highlighted, so I remember it a little bit more. But
Well,
anyways,
it
that's
must have
sad.
been big money. People don't
Con-
burn you alive and leave you in Port
condolences.
Perry.
Well, I mean, they said that they arrested a bunch of young kids afterwards. So it's like,
Oh, did they?
didn't they say some young people were charged? I don't know. I read
I
one
guess the
article when
story
the
is like,
body just was discovered, and then I never looked into it again. So maybe there's like another article that happened afterwards to tell us
well,
what's
I
going
mean,
on.
it was big enough for us both to bring it up, but I guess there's really nothing there. I was kind of hoping you'd fill out the rest of the story that I was missing, but
Well, she was walking alone on Friday night, right?
is this
And
for
she had her
real?
dog and she was about to go and get a
Like one of those
caramel
purse
macchiato from
dogs?
Starbucks, right?
Is this in poor taste?
No, I'm just saying, but I don't know the whole story.
Yeah.
Regardless of what it is, it's condolences to her family. That's sad. That's sad.
It's sad. It's crazy,
Yeah.
but I mean, she must have been up to no good because again, you don't get burned
Is that
alive
though?
if you
Why do you say that? She must be no up to no good.
I guess random people burn realtors alive sometimes.
Well, sometimes people are just, vindictive. You know,
I told you you weren't going to get your commission.
there's people out there who are just absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
So I give
You
people the
said it was
benefit of the doubt.
100 feet wide.
It could happen. Yeah,
Like why? Anyways, but something must be up. We're gonna
it
find
seems
out more
fishy.
about this. What
It
else is
seems
going on
fishy.
out there, TK? Hey, did you hear? This is pretty nuts, man. The US like revised their employment numbers or unemployment numbers, and they were off by a considerable amount of people. TK, did you hear about this?
They were like, "Oh yeah, all those people. We didn't know
Oops.
that they were working."
Million, like a million people. I think it's 818,000 what they reported, but other sources are saying that's obviously not true, and
But in
it's
the
way
grand scheme of
more.
things, that's a small number compared to their population. Like we've had some miscalculations
It's a
as well.
big
Immigration,
mistake.
employment,
Yeah.
GDP, like,
Man, a
all the
bunch
time
of
those numbers
fuck
get
ups.
revised afterwards.
How do we
They're so
let these
excited to
idiots
release it.
run the country? It's crazy.
They're so excited to release those figures, right? And now the storylines out today were like the overall like retail sales and everything like that aren't coming in as hot as they expected, and that there's going to be
Aren't or are?
aren't, and that there's going to be a lot of
No shit.
evidence for the Bank of Canada to continue with the rate cuts. You
What
know,
are people spending their money on though? Because it seems like
car
everybody's out and
dealerships are
about.
down like 2.5%, something like that. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's going on right now as far as sales. And this is what it is. We've been talking about this forever. Like, I mean, they
McDonald's.
start lowering the interest rates when things get bad. So we're
Yeah.
just like, things were good for like a long time. Now they're bad, and that they're going to continue to get worse. For how long? We don't know.
So, but depending on your perspective, it's like, when did bad start, right? Is it bad now? Did now it just all of a sudden it's like, oh boy, like this is so bad
I
now we have to
I feel
cut?
that way. I feel that way.
Just all of a sudden.
I feel like there was very few people who were caught up in the storm of the market hikes, the interest rate hikes, the market drops, the interest rate hikes, all the things that happened during those past 2 years. I think that's a percentage wise, it's a lot less people than the overall population. Now I believe like the overall population is affected a lot more
Now.
because of those. Yeah, of course. That's why we're starting to see the sales numbers come down. Like when you start, if everyone keeps spending, like we've been talking about it forever. Why is everyone still at the mall? Why is everyone still going here? Why does everyone still have all this money? What's going on? We're talking about interest rates, but it was just a small fraction of people who were affected, right? Half the people had fixed rates, so they weren't affected at all. The
Mhm.
other half of the people, there's a ton of people who are on static payment variable rates. So even though their interest and the payment and their amortizations and all the stuff was way out of whack, their payments didn't change. It's only
Right.
the Scotiabank product people who's had the flexible payment variable rate. Those are the only people who actually said, "Well, my payment is now $2,000 more a month, and I've been paying that since the rates started going up." So there's very few people that we could honestly say were impacted immediately.
So what about this renewal crisis that's on the horizon? Are
it's
they gonna
it's it's
drop
it's
rates?
it's no, it's just coming out. It's just slowly, 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 slowly. Each day, more and more people are having to renew. I'm doing a mortgage right now. I'm doing a refinance on a rental, and you got to jump through the hoops. You got to get things done. You got to look what the rates are, and you got to do all the things that you got to do to make it make sense. You know, so
What kind of
people are going to
things
do
do you have
that.
to do? Yeah.
You
Like why?
provide them all
Because you
their
can't get the
information, you
valuation?
provide them the income, you provide them rents, you provide them leases. Then they want to look at other properties. They want to know every detail they can. And then when the time comes, they'll look at it and say, we want to give you a mortgage or not. And if they do, then they do an appraisal.
How is the rental market right now? I'm getting mixed signals because there's so many empty condos out there
Yeah.
for rent,
I,
and
I have a I have a tenant client right now,
a
which is
tenant
rare for me. Yeah.
client. What does
Yeah.
this mean? You're looking for a rental for them?
Yeah. My little sister wants to rent a condo
Oh,
with her
okay, yeah,
boyfriend.
yeah, yeah,
So I said, I'll take them out.
yeah.
So
Budget.
uh, I'll do my only rental this year. And
They're
they're
looking
looking
for
at about
2,500
3,000
for.
bucks a month.
Oh, that's a healthy budget to
Downtown,
get
like
nothing. Yeah.
waterfront, like, prime locations, 1+10, 2 bathroom, maybe. We looked at
There's,
some places. They're pretty decent. Some were sitting on the market a little while. I mean, that's a lot of money. It's a 1+10. So, but if you get a couple who's making good money, her boyfriend's making good money, she's okay. But
You can't really get anything good for $3,000 a month.
no, the one plus den, they were fantastic. They were like 26, 27, 2,800. It was they were nice units, perfect for them.
How big?
Now, but
How big?
no place. So let's just do that. So out of the 8 places that I booked, nobody's received an offer since I showed it. Some of them were sitting on the market for a little while. So, anecdotally,
How
I
big
don't
was it?
think whatever, one plus 10, 700 square feet. I don't know. I didn't measure it, but
Do you
like not
understand
like
how big
micro
a
condos.
difference
These were older
6 to
units.
700 is?
Well, that's what the range was. The smallest one in the new building would have been 6 to the older buildings, maybe 7, right?
Hmm.
Would have all the bunch. But, bottom line is when you start seeing those statistics come out on retail sales, on car dealerships, on travel, and all those other things, and people are spending less money, those are the big indicators that will start dictating to us what's everybody's situation at home. Are they really looking for more expenditures, or are they cutting back? That's what it is. And so the rental market, all those things, these are all lagging indicators. Everything that'll happen over time, we'll start to see, fall. And now the fall market will determine, how many people are really buying houses.
So, but
Because
what
I can
about,
just tell you from my perspective that there's a bunch of people who are going to be starting to buy again in the fall, and that
so,
some
but,
of them are actually waiting for listings, and there's not that many listings in every area.
but hold on a sec. So your sister's looking for a place downtown, 3,000. There's options, and
Yeah,
she has not pulled the trigger yet
we just
because
started.
we just started and
Yeah,
there's
October
so
1st
many
move
more
in, so it's
options.
like you got time.
So many more options. And would they prefer to live in a condo or a building that's like a rental building?
No, there's no options there. There's like a few buildings that they're really familiar with, so we're targeted. We got like 10 buildings in the Harborfront area that
They
we're
want
looking
a
at.
specific area.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, if you're specific like that, there's probably still not that much choice, right? I guess there's probably a couple of buildings that you can choose
Like I
from
said,
if
it was
you're
like 10
looking.
buildings, and they're all ranging from like a couple of them are the newer buildings, but most of them are all like 10 to 15 years old.
So me and my daughter did a study this week on
Oh,
rental properties that have leased in the past, like in 2024, since
yeah,
January, that
yeah.
are over $6,000 a month.
Okay.
And you'd be surprised at how bloody many of them
Condos
there
only?
are. No, condos and purpose-built rental buildings, at least
Okay.
ones that we could
Not
find
houses though.
information on. No houses.
Okay.
No
So apartments.
townhouses, no houses,
All right.
no,
So how many?
no,
What's the number? Is that a big number?
it's
300,
like
500?
280 or something
Okay.
examples we have, I think, at the moment.
Yeah.
And like it's only within, a certain radius of a certain property. And it's,
I wonder where that is. Yeah.
yeah, this is for me
What's the most
purposes
expensive
only.
rental?
Oh my God. Like there's
20
I,
grand?
yeah, 20 grand. There's stuff on the market right now for 30 grand.
Yeah.
It's like it's crazy, but there's so many of them that I'm quite honestly I'm surprised, right?
Yeah.
And you can't really, some of them I guess make sense the price to somebody. Some of them make no sense at all. Some of them are so ugly and so old and
Yeah.
so weird, but I mean,
There's people who have a lifestyle that they have to keep up with. And that, in divorce cases, if you read some of the news articles and things like that, there's people who just look like they have money. Maybe they come from money, maybe they just
mm,
want to have money or whatever it is, but they live well, well, well beyond their means. And they're paying 10 or $20,000 for a rental that they can't really afford just so that they could live in an area that they can say that they live in. And it's way more common. I mean, um, unfortunately, that's never going to change, and the market's going to be there, right, for that. Think about it.
I
You
don't
don't
know
think that?
who is renters, but I watched this guy online, the lazy Canadian investor or something. He's got a huge following, and he's
Yeah.
always talking about how stupid it is to own something, right? And
Hmm.
to rent the place that you live in and to use the rest of your money and invest it in something, right?
Yeah.
Like anything but like your own home, because your own home is always a losing proposition, right? And
Yeah.
people treat it as an investment. And we've seen, unfortunately, I've seen more times than I'd like to have seen that it doesn't always go up. And even when you know this, when you've even been smacked around a little and seen things go down, once you're kind of in the thick of things and it's been a long time again, it's hard not to be like, I mean, who knows when this thing could end? The last time was like 30 years or whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, let's go, let's go, let's go. But, anyways, it's like rentals are going bananas. And I think there's a bigger part of the population. Like, there's boomers that are saying, you know what, I'm going to cash out on this house. I'm going to rent for the rest of my life. And I'm going to
Yeah.
have some money in the bank and it's going to make
I'm
me
making
some
interest
money,
and I'm
right?
not paying for that rental.
Because I'll tell you, the best time in my life was when I mean, not when we lost all our money and had to rent, but I loved being a renter. I loved saying, hey,
The
Sam,
stove's
I hate to
broken.
break it to you, but
Yeah.
like, the roof is leaking and, you know, like it's annoying, but I don't really care. This is your house. It's a beautiful house. You should fix it quickly because it's going to ruin your beautiful house. And next thing you know, there's roofers and a painter. And I mean, if you rent a piece of shit, okay, if you go and you rent a dump and you expect the landlord to like do stuff, I mean, come on, don't be so dumb, right?
Mm.
But if you rent a really nice place, like the people that own it want it to stay nice. They don't want to spend money to fix it for the next guy. Like, landlords and tenants want to have a good relationship, I think. And so one thing that he said actually today that was really interesting is he says, I don't let my tenants pay more than 30% of their income for rent because I don't want to put them in a position where they're fucked,
Of
right?
course, yeah.
But most people don't think like that. Most people are like, get the
No,
rent up as
that's a pretty common uh analysis for debt service on a rental. Like
on a
that's
for a
30%.
professional, but you got all these fucking idiots that bought houses
No,
and are
that's
just they want the most rent they can. They don't care where it comes from. They
I
don't
don't
know what
know.
they're
I think that would be
doing.
really irresponsible. If
Well,
the rent is
welcome
two
to
grand a month
Toronto.
and the guy's making 2,800 and you're like, yeah, I think he's going to be able to live off that 800 bucks and not have any other surprises over the next 12 months. And then he'll just leave peacefully, go find somewhere else to live because
But
he'll
you
have
don't think
last
that
first and
that's
last month's
happening
rent to give to that next
everywhere?
guy.
You got
No, I don't
guys
think so.
renting.
I mean, it doesn't happen, yeah, but I don't
Oh
think
my
that's like a
God.
common occurrence. So
I think that is super common. That's why,
I don't think
listen,
so.
people do
30%,
whatever.
30%.
Mm.
You got 3 grand a month, you got 10 grand a month income, then, you can get the place. If you don't, see you later.
See
I don't
you
know what to
later.
tell you.
Go to the place in Brampton where, they'll squeeze
Rent a
17 of
room.
you in for 500 bucks
Go rent a room.
a square foot.
Yeah.
All right, TK, what else is going on? So hold on. Rents we talked about. Interest rates, I guess we talked about a little bit. They're going to cut again
We
soon,
got to,
right?
yeah. I mean, it's forecasted that we're going to have another cut in September. Excited.
Forecasted. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, well, so but it's weird because you're saying that, you feel like the market's going to heat up again,
I
but
didn't
we
say
need
that.
what
I
do you
said it was more activity. I didn't say
more
up
activity?
or
Doesn't that mean
down.
heat up
You're
again?
putting words in my mouth.
What does that mean then?
You understand the words that are
Activity.
coming out of my mouth? I
TK.
said more people. So it
Like
could
to
be
you, is that what you mean?
no, it could be we could get like a flux of listings
A
and the market could
flux of
just
listings.
crash because all sorts of people want to do stuff. But I'm telling you, people want to do stuff.
People want to do stuff.
People want to do stuff. I have
I
a
think
bunch of people who are all like, I'm ready to go. When's the best time? And I'm like, after Labor Day, let's go. And it's coming on.
I would love to sell my house, but they're not moving here for what they need to move for. I'm going to be stuck here for a little while or I'm going to take a hit cuz we're like constantly doing shit to this place and sinking ourselves deeper.
Yeah.
But
Just,
I love this place.
enjoy living. Just enjoy living there.
But I would be more
Don't
than
worry about
fine
anything.
taking out whatever I could get back, which I think would be significant, and just have that in the bank, doing something safe right now, not going down. I hate watching it go down.
Yeah.
TK, I've watched too many houses that I owe go down. I mean,
Yeah.
luckily there's been more hands won than lost, but those losses, oh, they sting.
Yeah.
They
Yeah. Yeah.
hurt. Fuck, man. Okay, so I think, from my perspective, rates coming down is wonderful because I'm not selling anything for a while. So, like, I need to refi things soon, right? And
Mhm.
I gotta think that the sooner they go down, the quicker happy days will be back again for everybody. Because the condo market is so fucked. It's crazy. Have you seen
Mhm.
any launches recently?
No, I wouldn't be paying attention to that. But more importantly
But you'd
is
hear.
there's a ton of uh listings, right? And so um see the cracks in the condo market. But really, the prices haven't
So
come
many.
down as much as you would think.
No,
You
because
know,
people
we haven't
didn't
seen
get
average
desperate
prices
yet.
in those. Yeah, we haven't really seen those condo prices come down. Like, oh, from peak, they said they're down, and this is Canada wide. They're down like 9.5%.
That's it. Canada
Yeah,
wide.
yeah. So I mean, when you look
They
at
must
that
be up
number,
in other places that's pulling up the Toronto losses. No.
either way, when you look at that number, you're saying to yourself, it's just like that's not a correction. Like that's we still got lots of room to go here.
Oh,
That
don't say
condo
that,
market is
TK.
vulnerable.
But you got like John Love, the OG from Kingset Capital,
Yeah,
putting out on LinkedIn that I think the bottom is here or something to the
I
effect that
love when I
it's time to
read.
buy. Kingset has lots of money. Like
Yeah.
we're buying now because the bottom is here.
Oh my god.
Question mark.
I love. It's always like, who's the source, right? Who's the source? I love those articles. I love
That
the
was him,
when the
bro.
bank
No, it
starts
wasn't an
talking about it.
article. John
Toronto,
Love. John Love. The fucking president, the OG. Like he's from
I'm
back in
whatever.
the
Twitter, I don't care. Wherever it is, check the source.
it's
It's in
him
his
that's the
interest.
source.
He's the
Oh,
source, and what's in his interest? His
oh,
interest
I
is
see.
to start stimulate activity for people to start buying again. You don't
Do
think
you
that they're
think
stressed?
do
You
you
don't
think
think
that
that those guys have got some problems right now?
do you think that
How
that
much?
guy feels like he could sway the market by putting out a post on
Yes. Have you
LinkedIn?
ever read Elon Musk's tweets?
Are you comparing Elon Musk to John Love?
I'm comparing the uh, egotism of these high profile guys where
Wow.
they believe
Yeah.
that they can swing markets with their
Yes.
tweets. Yes, I do.
Yes.
Yes. Now the other
TK.
part is KingSet's also a big lender, right? So how many projects have they put under receivership?
There that's why that's what I was thinking is like every receivership I think we read about,
Yeah,
not every, but a lot of them had Kingset as one of the lenders,
creditors. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, and we even talked about it, like their analysis must not be so great lately because they keep getting stuck in these.
They need those sales centers to start opening up and deals starting to
Right,
get penciled.
right.
Yeah.
So that's I mean, so I guess if there's enough of them pushing, do you think they can push the market back into a place where it's rip roaring and those do you remember those happy days, TK? Before
Mm.
even COVID. Before COVID and it got like just fucking twisted and weird and crazy, right? Because that didn't make any sense. If you look back at it, everybody was like in this weird fever dream and things were just people were throwing money all around. And anyways, it was a different time. But if you go back before COVID, there were some like great times where the market was just ripping and everywhere you would go, everybody was talking about renovations and real estate and I'm building a house and I just bought a cottage and I feel like nobody's talking like that now. Anywhere I go,
They're
even the
selling the
guys doing
cottages. They're
well,
selling their boats.
yeah,
They're selling their ATVs. They're going,
selling
what am I doing? I was talking
closing
to someone the other day. He
stores.
said, like, all of my friends are all selling the toys that they
Yeah,
bought. You know,
well, and I mean,
I got
listen,
Auto Trader searches on a bunch of different cars, right? Because I got to buy a car in the next, like, I don't know, 6 to 12 months. But I mean, eventually I'm going to have to buy a new car. So I'm really trying to do my research here. This is what a well informed buyer would do in real estate. So I'm trying to do the same thing in the car world.
hmm,
And so I got all my searches, the cars I like, and like setting up, what's going on. And it's just like they lowered their price. They lowered their price. More listings, more listings.
that's
They
what I was
lowered their
telling you
price.
last week.
Like,
Yeah,
ooh,
yeah.
nice. Yeah.
If people would only listen to me,
But then
I'm
the interest
generally
rate
a
too.
month ahead of everybody, but nobody
Yeah.
knows it. Everybody just thinks I'm a clown, TK. But
But the
I
interest
see
rate
the
too is going to come
future.
down
Damn right, it's coming down
on used cars or on
on
cars, like buying a car,
everything.
like
Yeah,
financing a car.
I see people starting to go, hey, like GICs are not even worth it anymore because the treasury, the bond yields are down, right?
Mm.
It's not as great a deal. I mean, when they were 4.5, 4.75, five something, it was kind of worth doing. It was safe. It was better than owning a
It was
rental
better than
property,
owning a property. Yeah.
right? And so
Yeah.
now they're in the threes or like low fours. So, okay, you want to hear a story, TK? I forced
Yeah.
my kids
I
this
want to know what
week.
it is. 5 year GIC. Yeah. 3.7, 4.2.
Yeah.
This
I
is
was at
good for
like
rental properties. I've been waiting
4.5.
for this
Yeah, you're waiting
because
for
I
this.
can't make the numbers work on a rental property in like Ontario. That's going
Right.
to give you a better return than a 5% GIC.
Well, right. And
Yeah.
it's a tough sell. So
Yeah.
anyways, my kids, they both work and they have some money and they've had some money sitting in their accountant for a long time. I was like, guys, you just gotta just get used to the idea of putting it into a GIC or putting it into some kind of an investment and not just having it sit in the bank. Okay.
Hmm.
You just got to get used to it. So I want you both, if, but I've been saying it for months, right? So finally I go, guys, if you put it in by this day, I'll give you each $1,000. Okay. Just put
Yeah.
10 grand in a GIC. You instantly get a 10% return. And now you got your first GIC and you got it out of the way. So boom, my
What happened?
daughter instantly does it. No problem. My son's like, Dad, I'm a little short. Can you pay me in advance for doing the work this month?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
then I'm gonna buy even more. So he bought one after he
Yeah.
did his little kind of negotiation and pulled his
Smart
little
guy.
thing. Smart
Yeah.
guy. But he's already like that. Like this return is shit. Like I need more than this, right? This is
Yeah.
garbage. Like I need something better. I'm gonna do like something else. Can I get into that stuff you're doing? And I was like, Aiden, buddy, like
Good
you
for
can't
him though.
risk everything right
Yeah.
away. Like
Yeah.
that
Doing a
that
risky real estate deal, Dad, with no security. That's
right?
what I'm
Like
looking for here.
what
But you
the
know what? The
hell?
the, the lesson that we can teach our kids more than anything else is like preservation. Like if I didn't earn a single percentage point on any of the money that I earned in my lifetime, but I still had it,
Sure.
like how great would that be?
I said to my wife this
Preservation of
week,
capital is more important than the interest that you're going to earn for most people.
well, I guess for some people. I mean,
For most people, because they spend like bandits out there. They're buying everything they see. They're wearing the nice clothes. They're driving the nice cars. They're doing
I'm
stuff with their money that they shouldn't.
I'm a horrible real life example to teach my kids about saving and not taking stupid risks. But
Mhm.
I'm hoping to pass down knowledge that I've learned through
Other people.
experience, right? And watching people
So that guy
smarter
do
than
it.
me.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do like that, there's the ability to do it, right? Because I mean,
Yeah.
I know for me, I could never do it ever. I was like,
For me, it's got to be automated. I just
I would
automate
never
everything.
have that money when I was
The
that
money
age.
comes in and it goes out. You don't even notice it.
Gone.
You just watch this build. You just build up after 10 years. You're like, wow, there's a lot of money in there.
The
And I don't even
first
really know
time,
how, some of them, I don't even know how to get it out. I'm like, there's probably a long process. And I don't even think about it.
the first time I saved any money was when I decided I was going to get married, and I had to figure out how the hell I'm going to pay for that ring, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
started saving. Then after I paid for the ring, I was like, oh shit, I need to pay for a down payment for a house. I better save some money, right?
Yeah.
And thank God my wife was a saver, because I mean, she came from a family where you could just save all your money. You didn't have to really need spending money of your own, which is nice. And she came with a nice hefty chunk of money for our down payment. But
Hmm.
most people, you know, how the hell are they doing it now? It costs so much money to live. Like that you don't realize. People say suck it up, and I've been one of them who say suck it up, figure it out, make more money, work harder, blah blah blah, and that'll work. Don't get me wrong, like that will work, but it is way stacked against people right now, like way
Mm.
more than ever before. It is way out of whack, especially if you want to own. But don't be dumb. Don't own. Owning is dumb right now. Don't be dumb.
Mm. Owning is dumb right now for
Owning
most
is
people.
dumb right
Yeah.
now.
Especially if you've been in a rental for a little while or you live at your parents' house. Like it's like a no-brainer. If your
But
rent
just
is cheap
rent,
or
no
no
matter
rent,
what.
but it's like you cannot make the numbers work on your returns right now, especially if you can invest that money into something else. Now, the GIC coming down, that's a new twist now. So for investment properties and stuff like that, where's the best place? Let's ask our viewers, our
Where do
listeners.
you put
Guys,
money?
right now, okay? You got, a good chunk of money, 100 grand, 200,000, whatever it is. Something
Yeah.
that you definitely don't want to lose,
Yeah.
but it's definitely, and you don't want to be sitting in the bank, right? Where do you put your money right
To
now?
put it in a REIT? I
Okay.
don't know.
I mean, I would invest it with Darryl, but that's me. I got my own
Well,
perspective because
TK.
I want to make the big money and I want to be on the big real estate deals. But other people might be, inclined to do something else. So put in the comments, where would you put your money? GRCs are now come down. Is real estate where you go? Are you going to just do an ETF in index funds? Are you going into Bitcoin? Where are you going? What are you doing with the
Where
money?
No, but for real, I mean, I've been asking people that a lot lately. Is like, where are you putting your money? Because there's only so
Or you
long.
stay cash. There's going to be people in the
You may
comments
as well
for
put
sure
it in a
like,
GIC then if
got
you're
the dry
spending cash.
powder. I'm ready to strike once the market drops another 20
Well,
points.
that's how I was, but now I have the two deals. I don't even want to do any more deals than two right now. So I don't
Yeah.
need any dry powder, but I need something that brings me more than 4%. Because, like you, TK, I like the big returns, right? I like those big, juicy, fat, crazy
I need the big
returns,
ones. I need the big ones. Yeah.
right? And I don't know how much longer I can tolerate 4.5%, right?
Yeah.
And those are going to roll over at some point, I imagine. I think they're like 1 year, but they're cashable after 30 days or some nonsense. I don't know. Better than like, what do you get in a bank? Do you even get anything? Do you get interest in a
I feel
bank
like the
account?
best banks are like Tangerine, Duca.
Tangerine.
Yeah. Anytime I see people, like
That's
especially clients,
Scotiabank. It's bullshit.
when clients come and then they're got to get their deposit check, they're like, my money's in Tangerine. I'm always like, you're good with your money. That's my impression of those people,
You
right?
think so?
Because
Or you
yeah, it
don't really
actually
have, no,
the
because
return
it's like no
it's a
fees or
much,
something.
but there's more interest, but you don't really get a bank. So it's kind of like you don't have a bank. Your money's just out there. You don't. It's
Who
just like
needs a
it's they
bank?
got it somewhere.
You
But
don't
the
really
the
need a
most
bank.
fiscally responsible people that I know are all with Tangerine, and some are with Duca.
You know, actually, I need a bank. I need a I'm pretty tech savvy, but like RBC's
RBC's
business
garbage.
banking is the
Yeah,
most fucked up, dumbest. It doesn't work properly. I can transfer stuff between some accounts, but not other accounts. If the ownership is different, I can't. It's like or I'm turning into an old man. I go, you know what? It's just easier to watch them figure it out behind the counter there and stand there
yeah,
for half an hour
yeah.
because some of this online stuff is just, I can't even believe you should just be able to talk into the mic and say, hey, send 11.5 to TK on Thursday,
Yeah, yeah,
right? From
yeah.
this account. And
Yeah.
instead, I have to do all this stuff and then I need to check the fob and then I need a partner to release stuff. It's like, what is this stupid shit?
Yeah.
I don't understand. Why isn't it just
RBC, you gotta get rid
easy?
of RBC.
I
RBC
have
is not
so
a
much with RBC
user-friendly
though.
bank, man. Come
None of them
on.
are. I've been with
I've
everybody.
been with
They're all
Scotia and
stupid.
TD my whole life, and they're simple. They're
I
easy. I
had
understand.
to, stop using some banks back in the day. Unfortunately, there's a one or two of them that I couldn't continue relations with,
Yeah.
moving forward.
One of
But,
my guys at Jiu-Jitsu knows you actually. He asked me,
uh-oh,
he said, I saw your um
uh-oh, who's
Instagram
that?
post and Darryl Frankfort. He says, like, I've known him for a long time.
No way. Who's
Um
this? Can we say it
Simon
on here?
Hepworth.
No way.
Yeah.
He's at your gym?
He's
He's,
a good, yeah, he's a black belt. He's got his own
oh
gym
my
now.
God.
A-
He's,
And and
that's so
I go to
crazy.
his class. I go to his gym
That
just
guy's a
to support
beast.
him
He's,
in Markham. He's been opening up a new gym there, so I just go and train with him sometimes.
can you beat him or does he beat you?
He
Okay.
beats me for the most part. Yeah, he's good. He's a lot
Yeah.
bigger than me. He's a black belt.
He's a
Yeah,
big
he's
boy,
good.
man.
Yeah,
That's so crazy. Yeah, I've known him for a long, long time.
yeah,
Yeah, he's a buddy of one of my best friends.
yeah,
I
yeah.
played
So
poker with him once and then I won $200 and I
you
pulled out
got
of the
out.
game
Yeah,
and nobody invited me back ever again. I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
up, boys. I'm out.
yeah.
Can't
Good
do
for you.
that, apparently. I like being up on things. I've been down on lots of things, TK. I don't
Yeah,
like being down on things at all. What else is
I'm pretty
going
much
on out
just like
there?
stay out of it. I don't gamble.
Stay out of it. You're
Can't
very,
be. I can't be bothered.
I don't know.
I
You
don't.
got lots
I
of
don't
stuff
play the
going
lottery
on.
ticket.
You got
I don't
some
play the lottery
investments
ticket
out
game.
there.
Yeah, that's all different
Doing some
stuff, right? Where
stuff.
I got a little bit of control, but all those other things there, I don't know. Risk stuff seems too much for me.
Yeah, I can't do
I'm
it. I
not
can't
smart
put
enough to
money.
gamble. That's the truth. When people ask me why I don't gamble, my answer is never. I'm not good at it or whatever. It's just like other people are really smart and they know what they're doing, and
I
I
can't.
don't.
I
I just
can't.
go in there and I'm just like, I like that color, I like that number, I like that team, and I put no thought. I got a good feeling. I'm going all in, and it's
Yeah.
like there was not a lot of sense brought into the situation, so I stopped
No.
gambling a long time ago.
So
I
people
figured there's
take it
people out there
really
who are bigger.
serious.
Some people are good at it. Like I got friends who watch football and do all these things, and they have all this. They make money, and
Yeah.
maybe at the end of the year they make money. They tell me they make money. At least I don't know. I'm sure that's
Yeah.
what someone would
That's
say if they
sure.
had a
They all
problem.
do. Yeah.
But
Somehow they all do.
right, I'm like, I wouldn't be making money. I would be saying right now, guys, I'm down 20 grand, and
Yeah.
I'm pissed. So I
I,
just don't do it. I just don't participate.
I was at dinner with some pretty big rollers last week, and they're all talking about football. And every time it gets to football, I just
Yeah.
blank out because I
Yeah.
don't give a shit
They're
about
gambling though. That's
football.
why.
And I
Yeah.
said to them, guys, if you didn't bet on the games, would you give a
Yeah.
shit? And they're all like, no, not
Yeah.
at all. I wouldn't give two shits.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a pretty crazy thing to do, that betting on stuff you don't even care about or like, right? But these guys, they all do it like, oh my god, these guys play poker. I sit there and I can't figure out if I have a hand before they've all thought 18 moves ahead already,
Yeah.
right? They're all planning on what's going to happen if this and this and this, and they're looking and they're reading everybody, and I'm like, do I have two threes, and does
I think
that
I have.
mean
Oh, never mind.
anything?
King
Is
Eye.
this good, guys?
No,
I'm
I'm a good
all
poker
in.
player. Like I was always a good poker player. Like I always had a really good, but I just made bad decisions, right?
Mm,
And that eventually the emotions would take over, and then I would make a bad decisions. But as far as the actual play of the game, like I was always a really good poker player. But it just, to me, it doesn't make sense to go down that road. So real estate for me, this is why I only really invest in real estate. Like if you look at everything that I do, like it's like most of it is real estate. It's because
yeah,
the only thing I actually understand. Like I'm
sure.
super confident in looking at a real estate deal and being like, is this a good deal or not?
Yeah.
Because I understand it.
You've
You know?
de-risked it through experience and
Yeah.
life, right?
Yeah. And like I know the pitfalls. I kind of know like, okay, this is where it could go wrong. This would be my exposure. This is like, sort of where I'm going to be as far as a ceiling goes, like where I could lose or what's the worst case scenario.
I
And I
find that
because I understand that, it makes me like act quickly and calmly, and I don't really need to worry about
in my
uh,
experience,
being
most
afraid about it.
people's worst case scenario that they put on a spreadsheet or anywhere is nowhere close to the actual possible worst case scenario, right?
Sure. Well, there's
Meanwhile,
always a
the best case scenario, right, is
yeah,
like nowhere
super
it
inflated.
well, I mean, but the best case scenario is probably the base case scenario in the example, and then there's
Yeah.
only up from there,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
otherwise it's hard to, move some of this shit. I mean, we've been talking about it a long time. People have had to somehow figure out a goddamn way to get people to invest in this stuff. Like it, just knowing that they're going to flip a piece of paper, which means they have to believe that it's going up between when they buy it and they sell it, right?
Mm.
So and any and they want to call themselves investors in the process, right? So they're like looking at the pro formas that show that you will lose money every single month,
Yeah.
right? And we had a market on fire to buy this stuff, right?
Mm.
On fire. People were lining up down the streets to buy stuff that lost money every single month,
Yeah.
right? Why? Because of this little thing in the bottom of this like bogus appreciation column that says, okay, even though you're going to lose 20 grand over like 3 years renting it out, you're going to make $1 billion in appreciation and it'll
Yeah.
all be worth it, right?
Yeah.
How the hell did
People aren't gonna
so many people fucking fall for this
people aren't
thing?
gonna fall for that anymore though. They're not gonna fall for that anymore. There's too many stories out there now. These pre-construction stories, these things they keep coming up. Those
Wait,
pre-constructions, oh man, they're getting worse and
wait.
worse and worse.
Yeah, they're going
Right?
to get
That more and more
worse.
people are starting to come to the realization that what they paid, the price that they paid was way too high, and that there is no saving them,
Mhm.
and that there's going to be a lot more people who aren't going to be able to close on those deals. They're finding ways to close them right now. They're doing like crazy private mortgages and things like that because they're all saying the market's going to get better. That's what everybody's banking on. A lady called me this week who said, well, even though I'm XYZ, da 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 da, it makes no sense for me to buy it. It makes no sense for me to close it. I should just, get rid of it and move on and take my losses. She's like, but in a year from now, don't you think the market's going to be up? And then
Right.
I'm like, yeah, but look at the interest that you're paying. It's like in one scenario, a lady's house that I sold, she needed her house price to go up in 1 year, $225,000 for her to make sense of this deal.
Like, was that
That was
ever
her bet.
realistic?
No, 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 no. It was never. It was a
Never.
horrible decision, but she made it, so she lost the money because we got her
Mhm.
basically the same price that she could have got a year before, but she wouldn't have had to pay $225,000 in interest and penalties, interest and fees. This other party asked me, what do I think is going to happen? And so I just did like a quick calculation. It says it sounds like you're probably going to have about like $50,000 to $100,000 in interest and fees. So I said, do
How
you think
much?
50 to 100,000?
Okay.
Okay. I said, do you think that the property that you're going to close on, this pre-construction property, Do you think it's going to be worth $50 to $100,000 more in a year from now? Because if it's not, you're in the hole, right? If it's the same as it is today, you've lost that $50 to $100,000 in interest and fees. If it goes down, you're even worse. And if it
But
does
TK,
happen to
what
go
if it
up, then you're
goes
in the same position
up?
today. Why don't you just, well, if it does go up, it
But
goes up
then I'll
50 to
wait
100.
another
You
year,
already paid that
right?
interest, but you got to pay that interest again the next year.
I'll wait
Why don't you
7
just get rid of it now?
years.
Save yourself the stress. Like, why aren't people explaining this to people?
I think they are because I mean, people are all listing their stuff at the same time now, and there's all
Yeah.
kinds of shit. The problem, and I don't know how this works its way out of the system.
Mm-hmm.
Even if the prices are right, the units are shit, right? There's only so many. Like, how old's your sister?
25.
Right. So like
Yeah.
there's a certain demographic that's cool with a one plus a bed, but they definitely are of the opinion, or they're definitely of the belief that they will be out of that thing soon enough when they make money on it and they buy a townhouse or a nice house somewhere, right? They're not planning on living in a one plus den for
Well,
very
they're renting.
long. What? Okay, so they're going to want to move out of the one plus den into a two
I don't think they're ever
bedroom or
thinking
a
about buying is
townhouse.
not on their radar right now.
And so that, I mean, I guess it's not even sad because we're both saying renting is a good thing, right?
Yeah. A
So, I
lot of
mean,
people.
the market is just making people realize that they have to do the smart thing. And it's like against the grain. It's not
Mhm.
normal. It's not normal to be in Toronto and go, you know what? I fucking love renting.
Yeah.
I love paying off this guy's mortgage. I'm cool with it. Shut up. Stop saying that to me.
Yeah.
I get it. Right. But you know what? While I'm just paying this, okay, which is way less than if I owned this, right? Way less, at least at the moment, and for most of history, I have all this money that I would have had stuck in that house, right? At
Mhm.
risk, doing whatever the fuck I wanted to do, right? And I think a lot more people are like, what am I doing? Like,
Mm.
this doesn't make sense. Why am I doing this? But
We've
then
talked about this before. Most people don't have the financial literacy to invest that money properly,
no.
and that it is a better investment for them to buy a home and let it pay down the mortgage, add in some appreciation, and that they're going to have more money over a long time. But yeah, I mean,
So, but what's going to happen?
it
How
doesn't
are we
make
going to
sense if you
build
have the
units?
financial literacy. If you're going to start buying rental properties, if you're going to start investing the money into anything that's going to have maybe something that can just beat the market just by a hair, you're going to do better.
But how are we going to add more units to the mix? Like, how does this
We,
work? If the old way of doing a condo isn't going to fly anymore because people are
oh yeah,
hip
yeah,
to
yeah.
the scam, right? And that has to kind of change. How
I
the
don't know.
hell are we going to get housing on the market, right?
Yeah, purpose built rentals will be a fraction of what we actually need, right?
Fraction of what we need. But
Fraction of what
I
we
keep
need.
saying, and I don't know why it's not picking up more steam. I mean, maybe it
Mm.
can, but why the hell aren't all these risky guys that were happy to flip a piece of paper in a few years not investing in a pool to build a purpose-built rental building?
Yeah, the
Like, and
returns aren't
actually
there.
get
The returns aren't there.
returns. The returns
But
aren't
the
there.
answer to your question is
What were the
how are we going to get more
returns?
units? Is there'll always be somebody who's willing to buy in there out of greed. There'll always be somebody who's willing to buy into those type of markets, into those type of projects.
Yeah, but you need new stuff. Like, you
Okay,
think
it's
that
going to
they're
come. There's going to come. There's going to be there's come on. There's going to be housing starts. We're down, maybe 50-60% overall
it's
housing
going to get
starts,
so bad again,
and that
and
so
inventory
so
will be so upside down that people will
and there'll be
line
not
up
that many
again.
starts, and so the few people who do want to buy and who think it's a great investment and everything else like that will go into those projects, and there'll always be realtors telling everybody to buy. There'll always be developers posting on Twitter saying we're on the bottom, now's the time to get in, it's going up from here.
Let's
There'll
go.
always be Toronto Real Estate Board talking about how we're short supplied and how the market's going to go up and how the interest rates need to come down, and there's always going to be industry people who are going to be stirring up the market for their own benefit, right?
No, but look how
That's what
just
it is.
we're thinking here. Okay, so
Yeah.
Love makes a statement. My partner sends it to me. Actually, I guess
Yeah.
technically one of your partners, but he sends it to me, and it's like, people are looking for that ability to change the sentiment. You're
Mm.
sitting there, I tell you about GICs and you're like, "Oh good, that's good for investments, right?"
Yep. For
And so
rental
it's like
properties.
we're not geniuses and we're not, super ahead of the curve, right? So I mean,
Yep.
there's got to be people way smarter than us thinking the same kind of thing. And
Yep.
you see posts of people saying like, "Any other people on the sideline, like what are you thinking right now?" In Reddit, did you see that? There's like posts of other people
Did I
going like,
see?
"What are you doing?
Yeah.
Are you ready to go now?
I
Is
haven't
this
been
a
in
good
Reddit
time?"
finding
Me
out what's
neither,
going
but
on in
other
the real
people
estate market.
other people
Watch the
post
Canadian real
shit.
estate show. Come on. I don't need to.
That's right.
Yeah.
This is a one-stop shop for God knows what, but you can get it all here,
Hopefully
TK.
you learned something today because
Hopefully.
you
Did
know,
we talk about anything
that guest
today?
was really good though.
I told you he was going
Yeah.
to be good,
That
and
guest
he
was
was.
fantastic. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
for joining us today.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
You're
All
welcome.
of you are our guests today, TK. That's the surprise. You're
We
all
we
our
hit it out
guests
of the park. We
today.
hit it out of the park.
Did we nail another one? We nailed another one. We talked for a bloody hour again, TK. We did it. Was it entertaining this week? I feel like we were very serious this week,
I feel like
other
yeah,
than when we were
we're taking
making
our
fun of
job pretty
dead
seriously.
realtors.
We
Yeah,
got well, we weren't making fun of anybody,
no,
and we're spreading love, and we're giving information, and we're making sure that
spreading
everybody's got
t-shirts.
the things they need. If you need t-shirts, drop a line. We're trying to get rid of them, to be honest. So don't feel bad. We'll send it to you. If you want to email money, transfer me $20 for the shipping and handling.
Ooh, yeah. Those are the numbers. They
We'd
don't
appreciate that
absorb
too.
water. So like if you're
Yep.
planning on using them as a rag or something to absorb water,
Yeah.
this is not them. But if you
Beautiful.
want to look buff like TK and like, you're doing stuff, whoa, TK.
Pretty
That's
skinny,
uh
but
that's intimidating, bro.
there you go.
I don't know if I could use you as a realtor. I'd be afraid you're gonna just slam me down if I don't listen
Don't
to you.
forget, go to getleo.com if you're looking to join the team. Join Team Leo.
That's right. And
Thanks for
TK.
having me today, Darryl.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Thanks for letting me talk a little bit this week. It was
You're
fun.
welcome.